Public sector transformation is on the move. That's right, government is walking the walk. Stay tuned for an update on initiatives being undertaken at the Ministry of Finance and Planning. Plus, we remember Colonel Frank Lumsden through a visit to the Maroon community of Charlestown in Portland. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Welcome. We'll get the ball rolling after these messages.
The Petra-Caribe Development Fund has been helping to transform the Jamaican landscape for over 9 years, expanding our roadways, modernizing our airports, facilitating the creation of jobs and providing academic scholarships, reshaping communities and improving sanitation facilities. The Petra-Caribe Development Fund, moving beyond energy security. To find out more about the fund, call 960-9110 or visit their website, petracaribejm.org.
Good day, I'm Carrie Ann Smith and this is your JIS News for Friday, August 21. Government has launched the second phase of its National Export Strategy, NES. This leg of the program will be rolled out between 2015 and 2019. It's focused on manufacturing, mining, film and animation, agro-processing, and information technology-enabled services. At the launch, Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller said government would continue supporting the growth and expansion of the manufacturing and export sectors.
We'll have to identify market niches that are underserved and fill those markets. Jamaica cannot afford to miss the export boat. The government is committed to creating the enabling environment to support your success, because your success is Jamaica's success.
Industry, Investment and Commerce Minister Anthony Hilton is meanwhile urging public and private sector entities to institutionalize and internalize the national export strategy within their operational plans.
If this is done, the NES2 will become the fundamental pillar of our export-led growth strategy. Failure is not an option.
Technical support for the design and formation of the NES was provided by the Commonwealth Secretariat. The recent bouts of rainfall across the island have resulted in a slight increase in the intake of water to the National Water Commission NWC storage facilities. Acting President of the NWC, Mark Barnett, made that disclosure at a heads of agency meeting at the Water Ministry on Wednesday. He said 40 million gallons of water was added to the Hermitage facility, while at Mona there was an increase with inflows from the Yallas and Hope River intake systems. But NWC's acting president made it clear that even though the rains had brought some relief, they did not significantly impact the storage levels in the Hermitage or Mona reservoirs. As a result, he said the restrictions for the corporate area would remain for now. Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller has charged the new custos of St. Mary to continue the work of advocating and influencing good values and attitudes in the society. The Honourable Errol Johnson was installed on Thursday during a ceremony in the parish. He was also conferred the Order of Distinction Commander Class for civic and community service. Minister with responsibility for housing, Dr. Maurice Guy, spoke on behalf of the Prime Minister and relayed her confidence in the new custos.
Lieutenant Colonel Johnson will continue to positively impact the lives of the people and communities in St. Mary and beyond.
Governor General Sir Patrick Allen meanwhile urged the residents of St. Mary to stand for what was right in their communities.
I am asking you therefore, as noble and upstanding citizens of this parish, to do everything you can to maintain the tradition of excellence and not allow it to whittle away by the effects of crime and violence, domestic abuse, or abuse of children.
Kingston's Mayor, Senator Angela Brown Burke, says the Kingston and St. Andrew Corporation is carrying out drain cleaning and other interventions under its annual mitigation program. She was addressing a town hall meeting on the Zika virus and other public health issues hosted by the KSAC and the Southeast Regional Health Authority Wednesday.
So that those drains and gullies that are in need of cleaning can be cleaned, so that those areas that are in need of bushing because they actually threaten our health or well-being, that those too can be taken care of.
Mayor Brownberg says that about $70 to $80 million is dispersed under that program annually, most of it on drain cleaning. But she's also insisting that government's interventions must be supported by citizens who have a duty to practice responsible garbage disposal.
Often, what we find in our drains is that it is clogged with all kinds of material, so that when there's a little rain or whatever, they get clogged up. And in no time, there's water running on the streets.
And finally, Sport Minister Natalie Nita Headley has assured all the athletes representing Jamaica that while expectations are high, their best is truly good enough.
And if you give of your best, if you remain disciplined, if you remain focused, if you remain dope-free, then we'll be happy to always have you representing Jamaica, because that is what is good about Jamaica.
She was speaking at a press briefing held at the Jamaica Olympic Association office in Kingston on Tuesday. Jamaica's senior athletes begin the hunt for medals and better performances tonight when the 15th World Championships begins in Beijing, China. Then next month, Jamaica's youth will represent the nation at the 2015 Commonwealth Youth Games, being held from September 5 to 11 in the Pacific Island nation of Samoa. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Carrie Ann Smith. Thanks for watching.
Fiscal consolidation.
The centerpiece of the program has been the need to reduce our debt.
Business reform.
Make sure that we transform Jamaica to make it a place to do business easily.
New and existing businesses will benefit from streamlined regulations and processes.
And pursuing strategic investments while protecting the most vulnerable.
The path we're on is the right path.
The economy in Jamaica is turning.
The fact that the international community is once again lending to Jamaica says something about their confidence in our policies.
It is now time to actually stay the course, not to lose the benefits of the hard decisions that have been made.
The Jamaican government is committed to continuing the process of reform.
The government of Jamaica is on a mission, going for growth, staying the course and transforming the economy through its economic reform program.
The public sector modernization process is in full swing. Just recently, the Ministry of Finance formally launched its component of the program. Details of that and other initiatives under the modernization program next.
The public sector or civil service, an important part of the country, responsible for executing much of government's policies and programs and ensuring that the affairs of the state remain intact. With such a huge responsibility, government has to keep upgrading the public sector to make it more efficient and responsive to the needs of the public. That's being done through the Public Sector Transformation Program.
The best place to start that transformation for improved efficiency is in the Ministry of Finance and Planning.
2 years after a comprehensive review of its operations, the Ministry of Finance and Planning formally launched its component of the transformation program in 2015.
Transformation is also required to better facilitate sustainable growth in the national economy, effective regulation of the country's financial institutions, and to ensure cost-effective delivery of public services.
The overall aim is to streamline its operations, to better develop and execute policies for public financial management. Those best practices will then be replicated across different ministries, departments, and agencies of government.
It is a catalytic step to advance its commitment to expand human capabilities that lead to inclusive and sustainable economic growth.
To help the Finance Ministry achieve its objectives, the United Nations Development Program gave Jamaica $100,000 in grant funding. Strengthening the public procurement process is a major part of the public sector transformation program. That's because government is the largest purchaser of goods and services. Billions of dollars are being circulated to keep the country running. In the last fiscal year, thousands of contracts were issued, valuing approximately $60 billion. With so much money at stake, government has to tighten its systems to prevent fraud and corruption, ensure it gets value for money, and reduce bureaucracy.
We extricated ourselves, Ministry of Finance and Planning, from part of the procurement process. And we have seen some improvements.
And to build on those gains, government launched Jamaica's first electronic procurement system to improve efficiency in the procurement and award of government contracts. The system will provide easy access to information and reduce administrative costs and the time it takes to process contracts. Funded by the Inter-American Development Bank, it will bring Jamaica's procurement practices in line with international best practices.
This has not just been done in isolation. This is what public sector transformation is about. How we do business, the ease in doing business, and how the people of Jamaica, our customers, have access to the system of government.
Even as the government moves to strengthen the procurement process, it's also addressing weaknesses in the budget to improve transparency and accountability in the management of public funds. To make that happen, government is rolling out its medium-term results-based budgeting system. A contract has been signed with US-based consultancy firm Deloitte LLC to provide technical assistance in implementing the project.
The objective of this project is to strengthen public resource management and to support selected public sector institutions in improving and enabling environment for public sector growth.
The first phase of the results-based budgeting system will be piloted in 3 ministries: Transport, Works and Housing, Education, and the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries. So the public sector transformation program is gaining traction. Government is streamlining a number of systems and improving technology in the public sector to better meet the needs of the country, all geared at achieving long-term economic growth. Let's celebrate Jamaica to the world. Fastest man in the world.
First Jamaican woman to win gold in Olympic 100-meter sprint.
An upcoming global superstar. Mouth-watering meals. And a vibrant set of people. We are Jamaicans. Let's get together and bring back the love.
If you've been keeping abreast of current affairs, especially through JIS News, you would have heard about the passing of Colonel Frank Lumsden, who served the Maroon community of Charlestown for well over a decade. In a statement this week, the Culture Minister also recognized his contribution to getting the Blue and John Crow Mountains inscribed as Jamaica's first World Heritage Site. We've been digging through the archives here at the JIS, and in tribute to Colonel Frank Lumsden, we take a look at the Maroons of Charlestown in Portland.
The sound of the abeng, the infectious beat of the drum, the effortless moves of the hips.
Welcome to Charlestown Maroon Community.
They have been here for centuries, inheriting cultural expressions, a lifestyle that continuously mesmerizes locals and foreigners alike.
That the history of the Maroons, we show them. They show them and how proud they are at their history. It's very interesting to see how they survive for the British.
Jamaican Maroon descendants have a rich history: freedom, self-sufficiency, pride, the warrior spirit, family, spirituality. It is a legacy they mean to preserve for their children and children's children. A journey to Charlestown, one of Jamaica's major Maroon communities, reveals this cultural continuity in the architecture of the town.
Even though the entrance is small, this is where the Maroons would escape when being chased by the British.
Thatched roofs are still there, if not quite for dwelling purposes anymore. Living off the land is a Maroon staple. Today, subsistence farming remains a preoccupation for both the men and women in these communities. Passed down through the generations, self-sufficiency for the Maroons means survival. Being independent is indispensable.
The thrust of the Maroon Council under my tenure is to really use the culture, the heritage, what our foreparents left us, what our ancestors left us, to drive economic development. And it's been rewarding because really and truly so much is happening. We have a Savoyard, which you will see, we have a museum.
In Charlestown, Savoyard embodies a consciousness of the economic value in preserving and showcasing the Maroon culture. So young, old, men, women, all play a part in teaching visitors what it means to be a Maroon, yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
It's all right. Down here is a nice spot. We're going to clean it up. We have a sound system. We're going to play music and try to do something of our own. We're heading towards building up a proper kitchen, a proper bathroom, storeroom and everything. Further on, we need 2 rooms that people can come, and if they don't want to go back home at the same time, they can have it to rest.
Food and drink is important to the Maroon way of life. The intricacies of jerking a wild hog on pimento wood must be done deftly. And for those wanting a taste of this culinary culture, the people of Charlestown are preserving their unique talents through a food and winemaking company and Riverside Lounge.
When we do have people that make buster, it's showing entrepreneurship, people who want to own their own business.
How about a paki stuffed with bami, pork, callaloo, or even seasoned ackee, packaged and ready for sale? And then there's the practice of concocting juices from available food items.
It's good because even the men, they had 2 special wines that they come for, peanuts and goon.
Education in a Maroon village is something that takes place both within and outside the community. Many children are sent into the wider Jamaican community for schooling. When they return home, parents and grandparents are there to impart the knowledge of their African ancestry. The children, some of whom are given African names, are taught how to cook on wood fire, dance to the rhythm, and use the drums for not only entertainment purposes, but more importantly, as a means of communicating. Hard work and education are crucial, but so too is recreation, like relaxing by the river. Maroons in today's society are definitely not evading their culture. The Maroons then and their descendants now are embracing their culture. 14-year-old Shamara Smith is proud of her background and readily makes herself available to be trained as a tour guide.
I'm quite comfortable being a Maroon. Yeah, I feel good. I'm proud about my culture. It's good because it kind of helped me in school. When I do history, I kind of go ahead of the class.
Here is some information. If you think Maroon is in your family root, check out these surnames.
Play is very important to the development of children. It allows them to use their creativity and develop their imagination. Through play, children interact with the world around them. They learn how to work in groups, share and resolve conflicts.
They learn rules and they learn about respecting others and waiting turns and setting their own rules and guidelines for their games.
Set limits, but allow your children to play. It will help them develop the confidence and resilience needed to conquer future challenges.
In our Small People Corner today, it's all about the ladies. While school was in session, School Zone visited the Noon Technical High and sat in on an empowerment session for girls.
I am a beautiful young lady that believes in myself and can do anything that I want.
I am kind-hearted, I'm very determined, and I believe in myself.
I am beautiful, intelligent, talented, and worth can bring me down.
They spoke those words of affirmation at the first staging of their school's Girls' Day. Over 300 girls from the inner-city-based school celebrated their femininity as they received the powerful message of self-love from successful women and men. The goal was simple: to turn these good girls into beautiful, successful ladies.
Because we realize that many of these young ladies have no role models. We find that in the communities they have to be living two different lives. You come to school, you're a model student. But when you go back home, you have to blend in with your community. So we're trying to help them to find the balance between being a student, a potential youth and world leader, and exactly how you go about it.
I gotta believe in me, 'cause if I have self-esteem.
The first and most important thing is to exercise self-respect. You must learn to respect yourself.
Turn me away from the rise. I will.
A successful woman is a lady who is hardworking, persistent, diligent, beautiful both in and out, and don't give up no matter the circumstances. Even though she had struggles, she managed to overcome it and become a successful woman. A woman who is goal-oriented. A perfect example of a successful woman is the Prime Minister of Jamaica.
I am beautiful, no matter what they say.
She was told that she was worthless. Unfortunately, all too often we hear girls being told this: you're nobody. Perhaps you're watching and you were told you weren't special, but you're not alone. In fact, one woman in the corporate world shared how she did not let the negative words spoken to her affect the woman she could and would become.
When I was a child growing up, I had two sisters, and for some reason they looked a little different from me. Both of them had what we call long hair, and they were lighter complexion, and some people thought they were prettier than me. Now, as a child, I remember my mother introducing all three of us, and when she got to me, she would say, "Oh, and this is the ugly one." Now, if I had sat down and internalize that, internalize what that means. If me did sit down and believe that the ugly one, that I would have been thinking to myself all along that I'm ugly and so on. But guess what? Thank God, my mother also recognized that I was bright. So she would also say, she's the bright one. Ladies, I'm going to ask you to stop saying negative things to yourself. Right here and now.
I think it is very important because the Bible said that life and death is in the power of the tongue, and we should speak positive things over our life. I think it's time for young ladies to start acting like ladies and believe in themselves and have the strength and the courage to overcome each and every situation that they're going through, because we are more than conquerors.
Wow! Some real powerful words there from Calicia, who, as we can hear, was certainly impacted by that session. Now, another major issue that was tackled was sexual relations. As young girls, you should certainly know where you stand on this issue.
17, now she just come out of school. She never listen when her mama set the rule.
Everybody knows that the little young girl, them have pure little boyfriend around the place. Alright? No, seriously. You have different levels of friendship and different levels of relationship. It's quite natural and quite normal to have the support of a friend who is from the opposite sex. Wrong or right? But telling us say at this level you're not supposed to be having sexual intercourse with boys. You're supposed to be dealing with the improvement of yourself and moving up academically. Wrong or right?
We are the girls of Dunoon Park Technical High School. Diligence with persistence for excellence. Keep watching Zone Zone.
They're excited, aren't they? But what have they learned so far?
You must really listen to what others says about you. You must be yourself.
To believe in yourself, no matter what other people say things about you, you must not give up. Try pushing harder and don't let them degrade you.
This message to persevere was shared by reggae singer Ikea, who had the girls hooked on her melody and message.
The greatest love of all is? The greatest love of all is? Okay. And where are my strong, independent young ladies?
So from your mind conceive, then you shall achieve it. Don't make them stop you with them bad energy. Yeah. Them no love only, but them a free. Them no warmer for people. Now make me fly away. Fly like a
From Dunoon Girls Day, keep believing, keep achieving, and keep being successful.
No one can hold me down. Just watch me win this crown.
Hey, I'm Matthew Gore, race car driver from Mobay. I'm here to talk about road safety in Jamaica today, and I would like to carry you to Hopewell and to Great River, which have been some accident hotspots recently. So come on, let's go. Okay, we're here at Great River, which is one of Mobay's hot accident spots. And one of the main reasons for this is because of speeding, going too fast. And there's a lot of straights and sudden corners that come up, like right now. So remember guys, we're not, race car drivers on the road. You have to do the speed limit and be safe. So just always remember to be safe.
Yes, I'm sure you had a blast like I did, being entertained while getting a healthy dose of useful information that affects all of us. If there's anything else we could have done to make it better, share your ideas. Send an email to jamaicamagazine@gis.gov.jm or sound off on social media. To see the show again, watch online at gis.gov.jm or our YouTube channel. I'm Adrian Atkinson. See you next time.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.